When you want to begin typing on a document, a blank sheet of paper on the screen, you are going to be focused on the insertion point. As you can see, we have a flashing insertion point right here on my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and say hello. There we are. Notice the insertion point is now at the end of that line. If I want to move that insertion point down and start typing a line underneath, I simply hit the Enter key on my keyboard, and that moves it down. Now I can go ahead and type a sentence, and in this case, the insertion point moved down a little further. If I want to bring that insertion point back up to the previous line, I'm just going to hit my backspace to bring it up, or I could also just click at the end of that line with my mouse. So I'm moving my mouse up here, and I'm going to click, and that brought the insertion point back up. So either way, you can hit backspace to bring it back, or click. Now notice the I-beam sitting right beside that flashing insertion point. Now the I-beam is not my insertion point, but it means I'm in a text area, and if I were to click right there, I could start typing. Now I want to start typing about an inch below the previous line. I could hit Enter about 3 times, or I could move the I-beam to where I want to start typing, and I can double click. Click, click. There we go. I just placed my insertion point about an inch below the line, and I could type another sentence. Now another thing I can do is maybe I want in this big space between these two sentences, I want a centered title. I want to place a title. So I'm going to float my mouse in about the center of the screen, and I'm going to double click. Click, click. I just placed my insertion point in the center of the screen. Now it might not be exactly center, but it's pretty close. Now there's another way to do this as well. I'm going to go ahead and click behind this sentence, hit my Enter key to drop my insertion point down, scroll up just a little so you can see my screen, and I want to draw your attention to these 4 buttons right up here. They are alignment buttons. The far right says Justify Alignment. This is Right Alignment, Center Alignment, and Left Alignment. At this point, I want to center align my paragraph. So this is a title. And now I can hit Enter, and my flashing insertion point tells me I'm going to be typing in the center. Well, what if I want to have this right aligned? I can go ahead and click this button up here that says Align Right. Click. And go ahead, a right aligned sentence. And when I hit Enter, notice the insertion point stays over on the right-hand side. If I want to bring it back, I have an option. I can double click way back over here on the left, or I can come up here and hit the left aligned button to bring the insertion point back to the left. This is a left aligned sentence. So as you can see, you can click around, you can use the alignment buttons, but the most important lesson here is to look for that flashing insertion point because that is where you're going to start typing.